Am I the a-hole for strongly correcting a lie my parents told my sister? I'm 25 female, 7 years older than my sister, 18 female. When she was a baby, my parents came up with this story that I had asked them every day for a little sister until she was born. Now, I can't speak for 4 years old or younger me, but I know by the time I started kindy that I had no interest in having a sibling. I'd never ever ask for a sister. Lol. I had friends who hated their siblings, and that made me think I was lucky to be an only child. My parents pushed it so hard, and would tell me I should spend more time with my sister and take better care of her since I had wanted her so badly. My sister bought the whole thing, and if I pushed back on the lie, my parents would threaten to ground me. When I was 15 and she was 8, I told her that our parents were lying, and I had to ask for a sister every day, and my parents grounded me for a week. They told me I had broken my sister's heart and it was a mean-spirited thing to say. I told them it was their lie, not mine, and they said it brought my sister joy and that should be all that matters. My sister took that lie as meaning we should spend all our time together, and she hated when I didn't want to. It was especially horrible because she was clingy as hell, and she would have meltdowns when I didn't want to take her places. She practically wanted to move in with me when I left my parents' house. So a couple of weeks ago, my sister was asking to move in with me and I told her no. She said, "Come on, I had wanted her so badly and I should want to be around her more than I seem to. That it seemed crappy to want her so badly, and then discard her like she's not my sister." I told her to cool it with the exaggeration, and plenty of siblings live apart and don't spend every waking moment together. She told me most siblings don't ask specifically for a specific sibling like I did. And I told her I'd never ask. That mom and dad made that up when she was a baby and refused to let me say the truth. And when I did, when she was 8, they claimed I was lying and punished me for it. She told me it was a lie, and that she didn't get why I was such a dirty liar. I told her to listen to me clearly. I never asked for a sibling. I never begged them for a sister, and I didn't wish her into existence and that I hated the lie. She was crushed and ran to our parents, who again acted like I was a monster. She's lapping up the lies from them and told me she hopes I come to accept the truth someday. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Just cut them all off for about a year and see how much they can deny it then. Boom, solved. If you then resume low contact and she remotely brings up that you wanted a sibling again, do the same until it drives it into her skull by force. I guess I'm just an a-hole, but I always hated clingy cousins and I'm an only child. This would do my head in. Not an a-hole. I had the same thought. Why deal with this crap? If they still want to lie about it, they can do that alone. Just cut contact for a few months. If people want to behave like a-holes, you don't have to stick around. They can do that without you being present, and maybe then they think about it and come to the conclusion that they were being a-holes. Your sister is in denial, and because your word is painted as unreliable, this is shown by your sister immediately assuming you're a dirty liar. She's never gonna believe you over them, because your parents have always invalidated what you've said, making it seem to your sister that you're just a liar all the time. You need to give her some truth. Not an a-hole. What sort of parents would justify having another children with? My 4 years old wanted a sibling. Lol. Do you insert whatever you want here because your 4 years old wants it? Doubt it. So why create another small human? Because the 4-year-old said so? Also, even if you have a great relationship with your siblings, it does not mean you are obliged to spend every single moment of your life with them. You and your sister are two different separate people. And I can't even say I did say it then. Just not 100% sure. Not an a-hole. Your parents are. And your sister has attachment issues. I mean, even if you would have said you wanted a little sibling when you were young, that was 20 years ago. That doesn't mean that you always wanted her to be by your side 24/7. Especially since you're not kids anymore. I think that's weird, and your sister needs to grow up. It sounds to me like your parents lied to her to give some of the responsibility in raising her to you, which is just wrong. Sister has attachment issues because her parents told her, for 18 years, that the main reason she exists is because her sibling wanted her to. They dodged responsibility like professionals. Can you imagine being told your entire life that the entire reason you exist is because your sibling wanted you to, then finding out that it was a lie? Sister is not an a-hole. The parents, however, are massive a-holes. Next story. Am I the a-hole if I lock my freezer full of ice cream when my sister and her teen kids come to visit? My house is sort of the place where most family meetups happen. I kept my parents' house and have lived there since then. I've noticed that my sister doesn't really have a good handle on her kids in terms of discipline. The past 2 times that they have come, they have eaten so many of my ice cream bars they always make such a freaking mess. It's aggravating. I would be fine if they grabbed one from the freezer, but they grab like 5 each, eat them, then grab a few more for the road. I know my sister isn't the best with discipline, so I didn't want to bother with her. She wouldn't do much anyway, so I just got a lock for the freezer and locked it. And when they came earlier today, they complained to me that it was locked, and I just told them, I know. They complained to their mom, and then she came over and said that it was locked. I again said that I know, so she asked if the kids could get some ice cream. But I told her no, and told her why. She then started saying things like me treating her family horribly, saying that it's just ice cream, and I'm a cheap prick for not sharing it, things like that. She was very angry for a lot of time, and then she just left with her kids. Am I the a-hole for doing that? Not the a-hole. Do you think she understood that it wasn't about the price of the ice cream, but rather the kids' entitlement of just grabbing it from your freezer and making a mess? Because that's what it was about. Seems like she missed that. She was pretending that the reason was one that she could be justified in berating Opie about. By latching onto that, she can pretend to herself that it's totally not because her flock of seagulls are greedy, grabby, messy, and disciplined gobblers. Not the a-hole. She needs to parent her children and teach them manners. They should not be acting like pigs or making a mess. It's your ice cream and you can do whatever you want with it. I would have done the same thing, honestly. I do need to ask though, did you ever tell your sister that her children acted this way? I know you don't want to parent them, but that could have been a good thing to do if you didn't. I suggest if they come over again, maybe you can unlock the freezer and take out 1 bar for each of them to have, as long as they ask politely. My mom would have broken my fingers if I opened up a fridge or freezer when I was a guest in someone's home. Unless I was told go get a specific item from this location, I did not go into other people's property. Hosts put on what is on offer, and you get what you are given. You don't go and fridge dive for something better. And as for the kid's mother, she shouldn't need to be told what her kids are doing. She should see what her kids are up to because it's her responsibility to supervise them. The OP is not the a-hole. Her sister needs parenting classes. Not the a-hole. If her kids need ice cream, she can buy it and bring it. It's not like your kids are eating it in front of them and refusing to share. They've obviously come to see your freezer as free reign. Seriously, OP isn't a store. Next story is titled, Would I be the a-hole if I don't invite my brother-in-law and his wife to my birthday dinner? My husband and I are planning a dinner for my 30th birthday. I get along really well with most of his family. As a former foster kid, it means a lot that my in-laws are basically like my parents now and truly love and accept me. I also get along really well with my husband's sister. She has treated me like the sister she never got as a kid but always wanted. And she has been a great source of support for me through some stuff surrounding my birth mom that came back to haunt me a couple of years ago. The issue I have is with my husband's brother and his wife, and how they allow their kids to behave. It's an issue everyone has, but they have tolerated it for themselves because they love them and don't want to lose out on a son/daughter-in-law and grandkids or brother, sister-in-law and nieces. My husband even has problems with them because of the crap we go through with them. The problem is, they do not parent their girls, 7, 5, and 2, and expect everyone else to deal with the fact. The girls throw food, spit food, break stuff, and spoil others' food if they can't have a taste of it. And they will ask even if it's the same thing as what they have. They got us kicked out of restaurants before. Their parents will tell them to stop, will offer them bribes to stop, but when they still act that way, they will just let it happen. Right before lockdown hit, we were all at my in-laws for a family dinner, and the oldest, who is 5, threw a plate at the wall because she got chicken tenders instead of chicken nuggets. When my mother-in-law tried to step in, she picked up a bowl and smashed it into the table, screaming in her grandmother's face. My brother-in-law sat there like nothing had happened. He only removed her when his dad snapped, and said to be a man and step in. And not only that, but they will show up with kids to non-kid events, and let their kids act up. Each and every one of us has tried talking to them, has tried to intervene, but it goes nowhere. So when my husband's brother asked about my birthday, I said we weren't sure yet, But then my sister-in-law's husband slipped up and mentioned the dinner, and he came back and asked. So I said I wasn't sure I would invite them because of their kids' behavior. He's furious and told me I shouldn't exclude family and should have spoken to him first. Only I have before. Not about their birthday, but in general about these issues. The rest of my in-laws have my back, and sister-in-law's husband apologized for spilling the beans. I still feel bad despite the support because I could see his feelings were hurt, and I worry about hurting the girl's feelings being excluded when the rest of the family isn't. Would I be the a-hole here? Not the a-hole. 1. You tried talking to them. 2. Everyone else has tried talking to them, so it's clearly a pattern and not something you're exaggerating. 3. Those kids sound like nightmares. And as a parent, I know you just miss out on stuff sometimes because of your kids. My son was awful at 3 years old, and we basically didn't do anything for a full year. He grew out of it. 4. It is your birthday. Don't make concessions on your birthday for people that don't respect you. It's supposed to be about you, not them. Time for your brother-in-law and his wife to start seeing the consequences of being crappy parents. Life is full of consequences, and they better buckle in because they have a lot coming. About time. Not the a-hole. You would not be the a-hole. Jesus, their kids sound insufferable. What kind of adults will they grow into? The lack of discipline and good parenting is the main issue here. But your sister-in-law's husband somehow doesn't seem to realize that. He should be embarrassed of himself for not being able to have kids who can act normal. No wonder you don't want them at your birthday. My brother-in-law and his wife, you mean? Sister-in-law's husband is a good man. Just slipped up. But brother-in-law and his wife? Yeah, they don't seem to care all that much. Jesus! Getting kicked out of places were not enough of a hint for them? When I grew up, we had restaurant rules, which was basically other people are not here for your crappy behavior. But yeah, do not invite them. Action speaks louder than words, and they have shown how much effort they care to put into having a good relationship with their family. Time family told them the truth about why no one wants them around. If you really want to give them a chance, lay down the rules. Hard. In writing. No throwing, no screaming, no spitting, etc. And if they break the rules, they got to go. No second chances. Maybe lay those rules out for the next family event, not for this one. The time to begin this isn't at a public space for someone's birthday that has already made it clear they don't want this disruption. Maybe missing out on particular events is needed. It takes a family. And perhaps this family is the kid's only shot at learning about consequences and behavior. Next family event, maybe tell the parents, we expect you to parent and we expect them to behave in a reasonable manner. We love you all. We would like to enjoy your company without the mayhem. If they don't listen, tell them it's time to go. Keep this up until they figure it out or stop coming. I hope you're definitely not the a-hole. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for saying that a 2-person household was not a family? My stepdaughter's mother's house is very different from a normal household. She's very much a bare minimum kind of person. The only truly important things are work/school and appointments. As long as you're on time for those and doing well, have good hygiene, and are keeping your bills paid, everything else is pretty much optional and usually not worthwhile to do. Their house is 3 bedrooms, but it's small, and unless they happen to have a guest, it's just her and her mother. My stepdaughter's mother has a maid service come in once a month to do a clean because she's too busy with a standard 9-to-5 job. Her standards are basically just pick up after yourself, laundry once a week, do the dishes as they come in, and sweep/vacuum if you think it needs it. In an actual family, these standards would lead to the house being an absolute dump, but because her house is all of 2 people, the house is perfectly fine. Our family is 11 people when my stepdaughter is here. My husband and I, our other 4 kids, my sister and her son, and my parents. So we run our household very differently. We have things like routines and chore lists. Aside from the past year, we have kids in sports. I'm sorry that we don't have a private bathroom for each person in the house, and that we have actual tasks that need to be done in the house every single day and can't just get done tomorrow. She has never adjusted well in transitions, and thinks we're strict for having actual standards. I'm sorry, but things just are not the same when it's 2 people versus a family of 10 to 11. It's not just do whatever like it can be with 2 people. After years of arguments, I finally snapped and told her that I'm sorry she has to spend so much time with an actual family. Now everyone is mad at me for not going along with the idea that a single woman with one part-time child is just as much a family as a large multi-generational family. I'm sorry, but it's just not, and I'm tired of being the bad guy about it. Now for the top comments. Wow, you're a massive a-hole. I'm a single woman with one child. Are we not a family? Were we a family before my son's dad died and now we're not? How does it work in your eyes? You're the a-hole. And to say that to someone's face, you're an even bigger a-hole. Jeez, I'm sorry for your loss. But seriously, is me and my boyfriend of almost 2.5 years living together with our dog and cat not family? Because I'm sorry, but if you ask me, my boyfriend, our dog, and our cat are my only family. So Opie, does that not qualify as family? Am I totally without a family because A, we aren't married, B, we have no kids? You're the a-hole. You just butchered the little girl's feelings. And no, I don't care if she's a teenager. You're the adult and she's the child. She is a little girl. Way to make her feel crappier about what semblance of family she has considering her dad married a wicked stepmother. You're the a-hole. You're dripping with malice and condescension. Have you tried minding her own business about her cleaning service and work hours, and maybe being a pleasant person? Precisely. Work hours don't mean she does nothing else. A commute, extracurriculars for their kid, voluntary work, hobbies, other family commitments. Also, if she doesn't like cleaning, then why not pay someone if you have money? Especially when it's clearly not squalor by her own admission. Basically, the step kid doesn't want to clean up after the 11 people who made the mess? Way to alienate your partner's kid. You're the a-hole. You don't get to gatekeep what a family is. What a trashy thing to say to a child. And for the record, 11 people living in a house of undisclosed size, but there's not that many houses that can actually hold 11 people, is called overcrowding. You need to get out of your delusional headspace if you truly think your household is normal. It's definitely not. I will happily live in my 3-person household. Sounds a hell of a lot better than living with such a miserable, spiteful, judgmental person as you. It could explain Opie's attitude. I might be this grumpy too with a constant 11 people in my space.